Are you ready?
I am more than ready this time, especially.
This time especially. Obviously, our first series today, we only had the one game. A little bit of disappointment there in the end, but this should be an awesome best out of three. So, ladies and gentlemen, Experience Gaming taking on KEN0. Let's tune in. All right, so as you can see, the blind band stage has completed, and we can already talk about that. So Jeraziah Draconis being blind banned here by Loda, the captain for Experience Gaming. Wild Soul and Ophelia taken care of by KEN0. So seeing Jeraziah and Draconis, though, they don't like the cheese factor over here on the Legion side.
Yeah, and then right away, the Hellborn blind banning that Wild Soul and Ophelia. So, of course, I've talked so much about Wild Soul. I'm not going to touch on that. But Ophelia also is a hero that's blind ban worthy, especially when you're in second position, meaning that, if you just lock Ophelia, it's like, bam, I already have probably one of the best heroes in the game, and I can use him right now. I will say, okay, right away, Loda is locking that Chronos. I will say that I've seen them run Chronos a number of times. And so maybe that's just one of their comfort heroes. Maybe that's one of those heroes that after coming back from Dota, it's one of those heroes that they feel like is a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but some more locks coming out, Luna and Nymphora, so pretty standard as far as those supports go, but kind of interested to see Chronos played.
Exactly, and that brings up kind of a side topic there where, last series I mentioned how we're dealing with, they were called the Big Boys, as the title that we kind of labeled them as, these pub all-stars, and although that's a bad title, very successful in the TMM scene, but it is a different game than the competitive, than the tournament scene here for Heroes of New Earth, as it is throughout the genre, of course. So it's different play styles, different heroes that are popular. In this sense, you look at Experience Gaming. Again, not going to deny they have a Dota background, that they are playing Dota 2 as well. How will that kind of fall over to Heroes of New Earth? How will that fall over as far as their strategy goes, their hero picks even? Come to this, and, Chronos, obviously a port in a sense of Dota, and, so was actually Warbeast there, as he's locked as well by them. With the Pebbles lock on top of that, for the Hellborn team, they went with Luna and 4, and then Moraxis, actually, is their final lock overall. So a very strong lock pool, of course, as you'd expect, and now the banning phase has begun.
Yeah, there's a lot of strong heroes right there, and actually this is a little bit different of a lock pool than we see. So I'm excited to see that. There are very little. I'm trying to check. There's maybe one suicide hero in that lockpick phase, and that's Moraxis.
Yeah.
And that either tells me they got to pick a suicide in their regular picking no matter what, or they're going to have to man up and maybe do some kind of pseudo-tri-lane or straight-up tri-lane in the long lane. Because, suicide heroes, they're very valuable right now in this metagame. Like heroes, obviously, like Bubbles, like Huber the Forest is played very often as a suicide hero. Tempest, even Tundra. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm curious to see how they draft this. Yeah. But already we see a ban of Dark Lady. So Loda already realizes the potential and power of that hero. So it looks like he's been doing a little bit of his homework.
Yeah, obviously blind banning the Draconis and then going into his first ban being Dark Lady. So staying away from those other carries. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for Silhouette and even like a Forsaken Archer on top of that. Really wants to limit KENO's options when it comes to carry. Because again, you talked about the Chronos. It seems like at least they're comfortable with that hero. And obviously he is by all means a hard carry potential hero. So that could kind of throw off KENO a little bit if they obviously wanted to go for a carry, which you usually want to on most strategies, and they might have to go something a little bit different. But we'll see if that's what Loda has in mind. He is dipping into already a bit of extra time, actually, but it's going to be Silhouette, so it seems like he's following that trend here. We'll see if it's either that Mage ban or Forsaken Archer as the final ban, but in the end, you're only going to be able to ban one more, though, so there'll still be a solid option left over for KENO with that set as far as that top tier that we like to consider as being the carry options. There's the Keeper of the Forest ban, though. There's Parasite actually coming out, and now one more ban to go.
Yeah, I'm glad to see the Keeper of the Forest banned. It's actually banned from KENO, but I'm not going to lie. I bet Tempest... Oh, there's the Tempest ban, as I'm talking about. I was going to say I bet Experience is probably going to pick up Tempest. It's one of those comfortable heroes for people that are playing both games, and because it is very, very consistent. And it's a very, very strong hero, obviously. And I'm pretty sure Ake plays it just fine. Here's the first pick coming out. Really curious to see what this is. Obviously, Bubbles is up there as far as a suicide if you want a suicide hero. Other heroes to think about for first pick material. There is, his Fate. No, Fate is unbanned right now. So if they did want to go with Fate, I was kind of curious that it is still available. But, that's one of those heroes right now. Maybe if they're not following the metagame right now, they would pass it up. But Fate is a very, very strong hero right now. And curious to see what Loda does.
Yeah, you got plenty of options, but Fade really does stand out here when it's all said and done. Of course, you still got something like Bubbles, Glacius if you're looking to get a very strong support. There's always Berserker, as I like to keep referring to. No, but yeah, I am interested to see, again, how the flow goes. It is going to be Polywog Priest, but more so, is it going to be more of a quote-unquote Dota style of lineup, with the at least somewhat ports of heroes for over here on Experience Gaming. But Polywog Priest, well, that kind of fits that already. But interesting first pick, though. I mean, what do you make of that?
Well, Polywog is certainly very, very strong. Still used a lot in this metagame. I will say the nerf does make him a little more awkward to play, I'll just say, because the electric jolt does not go as far as you would like to. It just feels way different now. It doesn't go as far. You can't nuke to its maximum range anymore. But then the counter picks with Plague Rider, Forsaken Archer, I gotta say, I think it's a little weak right now. It does secure a suicide hero, and I'm fine with teams being comfortable with Forsaken Archer, but as I should mention, stats don't lie, and I believe Forsaken Archer had an extremely low winning percentage. If you look at the last, the Destination DreamHack tournament.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the lowest, actually.
Yeah, I don't know if those have actually been released public yet, but we were looking kind of behind the scenes.
Right.
I think you are right. That was standing out as a little bit surprising because we did start seeing here a lot, but didn't have the highest success rate. So I will say, Forsaken Archer Plague Rider, that's some good synergy right there. Obviously, a lot of AoE bringing to the table. So the beginnings of something perhaps right there for them. But Wretched Hag going to be the follow-up so far for Experience. They're down about 10 seconds of extra time, so using really all of it here is Loda. He needs to make a decision quickly, though, because that time is ticking away. 5 seconds. Wow, Bubbles. I look at that, and that is very interesting. They have 3 very powerful solo/suicide options here, all picked up right off the bat.
Yeah, that tells me that they're probably going to have like a support poly.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm scared about right now is if they don't pick a Luna right here, they're going to have kind of a weak tri lane. So I feel like they have to pick a Luna. Otherwise, if they don't do that, I feel like they're going to have to pick Warbeast. Otherwise, they're just going to their lanes are going to be weak anyway. And if their lanes are weak, it's okay if you have a strong jungler that's just going to free farm in the jungle. So right now, their 2 picks that I would be looking at would be Warbeast or Luna. But we'll have to wait and see what they do. KEN0 obviously has one more pick before we enter that lock pool phase. We'll have to see what they have. They have a lot of different options. They're a little bit more free now because, as I've mentioned, if you secure your suicide early, then you don't have to worry as much once you enter that lockpick phase. And they do go with the Glacius support.
Yeah, strong option, of course. Nothing you can't really critique that too much. So strong pickup indeed by KEN0. Now you look at Experience. So as you said, you're eyeing that a Luna perhaps, maybe even M4, but definitely more of the usual hard support. Is a good possibility. I mean, you don't need to worry about Chronos or even Warbeast really at this point, you would have think, because obviously Forsaken Archer over there on the Hellborn side already picked up, so the likelihood of them picking that up, they're gonna go Warbeast. So they want to guarantee to have that for themselves. So just in case. So now back to KENO's side, they could go something like a Luna Pebbles here, and honestly, I could think that would be pretty powerful. I mean, possibly. So
they could go even M4
Pebbles, yeah.
Because then they would have 2 strong dual lanes, and they could switch back and forth between them, depending on if they want to crush a lane totally or not, or if they see any resistance. But honestly, against a passive jungler like Warbeast, you're not going to see too much resistance if you have 2 strong dual lanes. They go with Pebbles, and they could easily go a Luna here and just win that lane. But M4 would provide so much map control, and I think that's the smartest route. I definitely agree with those picks right there. And oh, they go with Chronos. I thought for sure it was going to be in a Luna, but they have the carry now there. I was going to say if they didn't pick Chronos, Wretched Hag is. Wretched Hag definitely can carry in the late game with 6 items. Don't get me wrong, but Chronos provides a little bit more of a stable late game. But at what cost, Breaky? Because their lanes are just going to be, I feel like, a little weak.
Oh, it's at the very least different. That's for sure. I mean, it is definitely different, but I don't know. When you think about it, now, we've seen Polywog Priest support before. So, and as we've talked about, I mean, it seems like he has decent support abilities. He has a double C. I mean, that seems more for like a trial lane setup, though, for aggressive, if you want to use him in that. And that's how we kind of seen him, I guess. So when we have seen Polywog Priest support. So you look at his range, it's 550. It's not the strongest, but it's decent at least. So are you just worried that the Chronos Polywog Priest lane is going to be weak here?
Well, I don't even know if that's going to look at Ake is playing Bubbles.
You're right, yeah.
And I don't know if he's going to be playing a support Bubbles, or if he's actually going to be going mid. But Polywog has bought some wards, so he's going to be playing that support role. And Bubbles, he's bought the ring, the guardian ring there. That usually signals, it gives a sign that they're going to be in a side lane or something. I'm really, really curious as to how Experienced Gaming is going to lane this.
Yeah.
It just feels a little awkward right now.
Well, you see Spader X right here playing the Warbeast, currently sending out his Hellhounds, getting some information. He is going to spot Plague Rider over here, who is going down, attempting to place a ward aside. He did go Boots first, actually. Chose not to sell them. So those are going to be Plague Rider's items, at least initially, or the one item, I should say. But the other Hellhound is actually at the top side, and again, just really getting information for Warbeast and the Legion team as a whole, so they can get an idea of how they want to set things up. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. Very interesting here.
It's going to be a suicide hag, I think.
Okay.
I mean, looking at his items, too, those are also mid items, if I want to say.
It's like Bottle Rush, it seems. Yeah.
Well, no, okay, Ake is going to be going up in the top lane. So it's going to be Suicide Bubbles, Hag mid, support Poly. Okay, this is probably the most standard thing they can do. The only thing that threw me off guard was the fact that Ake was playing Bubbles. I mean, he's a support player now playing a suicide role, so that's very interesting to see.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely is. So.
I will say the good thing, though, for Experienced Gaming is that if maybe they plan their lanes knowing for sure that it was going to be a Suicide Plague. And that means Kronos is going to get free farm, and because they're up against dual lanes and Hellborn has no jungler, that Warbeast is going to get a lot of farm unhindered.
Yeah, and we talked about this before too, how you know, some regen sharing even, and Kronos actually has two pairs of Runes of the Blights on him, or two sets, I should say. So that's obviously some sharing going on right there. Whether that, I believe that was from Polywog Priest, but that'll, you know, allow him to not worry too much about taking harassment. Granted, I don't think there's going to be much of that anyways. I mean, Plague Rider's not going to really be able to do much. Now, he did go Boots, so like I was saying, do you think Boots actually is going to help Plague Rider here in this case?
Yeah, I do. I really do. Because if he didn't have Boots, they could actually be very aggressive with Kronos and Poly. I mean, that's actually not a bad lane, now that I think about it, because the tongue tie is going to give Kronos a lot of time to beat on Plague Rider and just do a lot of damage to him. Of course, he has that time leap as well to kind of catch up to him. But with the Boots on a hero that already has a very, very high movement speed.
Yeah, he is so fast with that.
Yeah. And if you look at the top lane, actually, Bubbles and Glacius kind of going at it toe-to-toe, exchanging blows right there. Bubbles, of course, has that Shell Surf ability to get away. He's going to put on a lot of damage onto Glacius. There comes the Forsaken Archer getting that volley. Can he actually pour it out? Oh, that was very, very close there. So Ake flirting with death right there, but he's going to be fine.
Yeah, that had to be the last half a second. I mean, that was very close. I thought he actually was going to miss it, but barely ports out at the last second and able to get away. So as you said, flirting with death, but using the health potion shortly after and going right back into Glacius. So Ake is showing that he's not going to let Glacius fully bully him. In fact, Glacius is the one that needs to be careful now. Oh, man, another auto attack and a Shell Surf right there. That would have been a kill. Now, Bubbles doesn't have enough mana for a Shell Surf, so perhaps that's why Glacius was playing as aggressive as he was, knowing that. So you know, it's just information like that, keeping that in mind. Bottom lane, we see a big dive happen on the Plague Rider. He has those boots, though, so he's going to be more than fine. And now this dive may actually hurt them a little bit. Kronos is going to start falling back. Obviously not taking tower aggro, though, so they'll be able to fall back and be fine. But we have a lot of early aggression already coming out here from both of these teams, but still just now 2 minutes into the game. No bloodlust kill happening just yet, but big diving here at the bottom lane. Now, wow, actually, I missed this, but Gompos here on Plague Rider was able to get the ward aside off to block this spawn. It wasn't the initial one, but he got it for the second one. Now, Revelation was just placed down by Nequad, though, and he's going to look to counter it. However, he needs the courier, though, to be able to spot it. He won't be able to spot that without the courier, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. He needs that immediately. And, I mean, he placed that ward of Revelation not too long ago. Maybe he just assumed that there was no ward there, but there definitely is. I'm really curious to see how Ake plays the suicide lane, though, because, I mean, comparing Bubbles to you know, its counterpart in Puck and Dota, I know that he's never played as a suicide, or at least very rarely, because it feels so much like a different hero. Bubbles just feels a lot more strong. So I'm really curious about that. Now the bottom lane, I'm curious also to see what items Loda decides to go on Kronos, like something like an Alchemist Bones, perhaps.
He used to be, I remember that when he was very active in the competitive scene for HoN, he was known for going the Alchemist Bones, going Helm of the Black Legion even. Early on in his carry days. So, yeah, Alchemist Bones, I wouldn't put it past Loda going that.
Yeah, it synergizes well with the hero, obviously, with an item that gives you lots of attack
Bubbles.
speed.
Well, let's one more attack. No, it's not enough for the kill. Glacius will barely survive, and Bubbles ports away. Now, I think the Shell Surf hit. I believe it did. It was very close to actually not hitting, but I believe it just barely connected. As actually, I got a little bit of a lag spike there, so I don't know if that was a server or us. Hopefully, yeah, apparently it was a server. The guys in the game saying they got a DC symbol, so just hopefully a hiccup. Again, cross our fingers.
Good thing that didn't happen during that exchange with Bubbles.
Yeah, that would have been bad. But looks like it was just a random hiccup, and now we're good to go. But yeah, that, man, Ake, again, he keeps flirting with death, but nearly got the bloodlust turnaround kill himself there.
Yeah, he's really hurting for farm, though. Like, he's got no more consumables. He doesn't have enough mana for that Shell Surf right now. Actually, he could be in a lot of trouble. Glacius has the Ice Imprisonment. He's going to have to auto-cast that, but no, does he have enough mana? One more auto-attack. Ake goes down. Bang, Baba gets credit for that solo experience. I'm pretty sure he got the experience, but solo kill right there onto Ake.
Yeah, that was not good. You know, Ake got so close several times. Again, we kept going back to his flirting with death there for a lot of that. He got nearly kills himself, but as you were kind of labeling right there, he was out of regen. He was very low in mana, didn't have enough for Shell Surfing. Glacius took full advantage. Meanwhile, at the bottom lane, we see Chronos diving in. Is not level 6 yet, so no Chronosphere going to be happening, but pressuring Plague Rider. But this tower is going to fall, man. Plague Rider coming up, maybe trying to deny it, but he's not going to be able to in time. Spader X right there on Warbeast actually getting credit for the tower kill, and they're going to start falling back. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Wretched Hag a little bit of pressure, but again, he'll be fine as well, as Pebbles was doing that. But how about that? Bottom tower being pressured very early on here, going down in favor of Experienced Gaming.
It's a very early tower push. Now, the only scary thing about that is, are they able to keep aggression? Are they able to stay in this lane and keep farming it? Or are they just going to simply have to back away? We already have 3 heroes down here. Glacius and Nymphora both have kind of transitioned out here. Wretched Hag and Pebbles going at it. Wretched Hag getting very low. Now Pebbles taking damage from that tower. A couple auto attacks, but Wretched Hag will be fine. So kind of interesting exchange right there. Pebbles, oh my god, has so much free farm here in the mid. 32 and 23 is his CS. Yeah. And of course, Hag going up against that dual lane, a very, very aggressive dual lane at that, is only sitting 6 and 3. So obviously struggling. I always hate it when I hear things like, oh, he's getting so owned in this. Well, he should. I mean, he should be getting destroyed.
Yeah. It's Nymphora Pebbles.
Especially when it's a Hag. I mean, if that was a Bubbles, it'd be way easier because Bubbles actually has a little bit better animation with the Shell Surf. Wretched Hag, the cast animation from the blink and having to turn around just takes too long, and you actually can get caught in combos quite easily.
Yeah. Yeah, so, well, you're right, though. I mean, Pebbles, he's, I believe he just had Steam Boots purchased. They're going to be on the way here. Yeah, you see the Gloves of the Swift and the Bolstering Armband on the way, so Steam Boots already going to be finished on Pebbles. So really working off that farm. A thing to really keep in mind. Not only, you always stress, Trout, that it's great to get your Pebbles off to a good start, but especially when you have a Nymphora. Nymphora hits level 6, you get that early PK on Pebbles, and it just seems like it's amplified. You look at the top lane, though, Glacius in a little bit of trouble. Followed by Pierce with the second time. Nice piercing arrows, though, that's going to do a lot of damage. Kronos dropped in. Kronos is dropping, though. He'll be fine, but it ends up being a 1-for-1, and actually, Nikwa on Polywalk Priest died there first, so I believe Glacius even got the experience. Very slight there, but hell, he even got the kill, actually, so that worked out in the end not too shabby for the Hellborn team, actually. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, they're actually getting out-farmed in experience and gold, actually, and despite them having a jungler, and I think it's because, this is what I don't like seeing this, when you push a tower really early like this, and then you just leave the lane. Now Plague Rider's going to get completely uncontested free farm. This is the Suicide Hero we're talking. The Suicide Plague is now 21 and 15, and who can really contest him at this rate? And the longer you keep him down here, the harder it's going to be to actually get a kill or make something happen in this bottom lane. So, yeah, what they needed to do was either stay down there and get some wards and have Kronos just free farm in that lane, or they needed to stack this main pole. They needed to stack this main pole camp and then get lane control yet again, but they didn't do that. And so, as a result, Plague is getting uncontested free farm right now. Yeah,
it was definitely interesting seeing Loda all the way up there at the top lane, assisting in that kill, which obviously, you know, he got the kill, which is great news, but in the end, or he got the kill, right? Yeah, he got the kill on the Glacius, but still, it ended up being a 1-for-1, and now he took his time, went back to the base, and now he's back at the bottom lane. Polywalk Priest caught here in the jungle. Pebbles takes him out, so no shit, doing work right there. But now Pebbles is actually in a lot of trouble, and that's nice seal stun right there from Nymphora. In comes a timely from Kronos, however. He has a Chronosphere, not even necessary. Loda will pick up another kill. And so, well, again, it was a very good Zeal Stun coming out from Nymphora, but just too much damage in the end. Aki, in the meantime, at the top lane, Bubbles in some trouble. Song of the Sea coming out. He's going to try to take cover right there, but he used it a little bit too early. Might not have mattered in the end. Piercing arrows on top of the crippling volley, and that was a dead Bubble. So 2-for-1 when it's all said and done. Right now, we're looking at a 4-2 hero kill advantage in favor of KEN0 here on the Hellborn side.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I was like, wow, why is Kronos there? Okay, cool. He got a kill onto that Pebbles there, but then I looked, I was like, oh my god, Kronos has only 25 CS. That is so low right now. And it's just simply because, well, one, you're going up against the Plague Rider and it has that deny effect, but pushing that tower too early. He does nowhere else to farm now. Now he's forced to pull for himself. This needed to happen already from one of his supports, and he just needed to simply stay in this lane and free farm this till the end of time. And I mean, with Pebbles and N4 also, and with Pebbles having the great farm that he does, despite him just dying right there, it doesn't matter. Their map control with N4, once they get that blink up on Pebbles, is going to be too strong.
Yeah, and then you compare, you compare Kronos and Warbeast even to Forsaken Archer, 350 gold per minute.
Yep.
So Mikey, man, right now you talk about free farm. The 28 creep kills on Kronos, 52 and counting already on Forsaken Archer. So clearly much better right now for the Hellborn team in that stance. She already has Steam Boost, 1,600 gold saved up. Kronos in the meantime has Steam Boost himself, another 1,000 gold saved up. You see right there, taking some pressure from Plague Rider actually, but you mentioned this. I mean, Plague Rider, suicide hero, he was getting absolutely nothing. They pushed the bottom tower, great for the Legion team initially, but all of a sudden, Plague Rider's at 200 GPM. Oh, wow. Nearly able to take out Kronos. Kronos needs to be careful, actually. Plague Rider does have a Plague Goo. You see Tongue Tie coming in from Polywire Priest, but Plague Rider needs to be careful. There's a Plague Goo. It does not bounce, though. Plague Rider's in a lot of trouble. Loda will take advantage. In comes a Bat Blast on top of the Chronosphere, and no easy on Wretched Egg will actually get credit for the kill. That was an interesting sequence right there, actually, but in the end, the Legion team got the kill. Yeah,
I think Plague just got a little antsy and cast an ultimate onto Poly. Obviously, it didn't bounce anything because there was no units near it. Bubble's taking a little bit more harass in this very aggressive lane. Warbeast up here wants to find some blood. He's going to find Glacius. Nope, he's going to turn actually to the Forsaken Archer, as Glacius could have maybe fogged him. I don't know if he's going to have enough damage actually to put out on... Oh, good place. Well-placed volley there by Forsaken Archer. Bubble's trying to pursue this Glacius. One more auto attack, and there gets the Song of the Sea and does get that kill. So good job by Ake. Warbeast is still pursuing, but a good piercing arrows is actually going to kill him. And Forsaken Archer does live, so it's very unfortunate for SpaderX.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure SpaderX was expecting Ake to try to assist him at least a little bit right there. It was kind of silly for him to dive as he did. I mean, he had to know, and his ultimate was going to be wearing off very shortly. And Warbeast is very deceptive in that sense. I mean, I've played him obviously myself before, at least in the pub scene, and it's like, oh, I have my ultimate, I'm running around at haste speed, I'm tearing people apart, but then all of a sudden the ultimate deactivates, and you're like, crap,
I'm useless.
Now I can't chase these people down like I could before. So it's really frustrating, and I think that's kind of what happened right there for him, whether it was the case of tunnel vision or just simply he expected his teammate to help him at least a little bit. And one auto attack from Bubbles actually could have gotten the job done, but Bubbles decided to turn around after he got the kill on Glacius, so was not able to assist. I don't know if he would have been able to get there in time, but again, kind of just putting it out there. Maybe that's the idea he had in mind. So good job right there in that sense. We see in the middle lane, though, Pebbles was looking to pressure this tower. Now, it is in deny range. Warbeast was hitting it a little bit, but he's not going to commit to it because he knows that the Hellborn team really wants to dive here and try to make something happen. Warbeast needs to be careful, though. Wretched Egg, will he finish it off? One more auto attack, and there we go. Nice deny. And I believe I just saw Alchemist Bones purchased on Chrono, so we expected it might be coming. Sure enough, it is going to happen here on Loda.
I mean, I think that's what they need, honestly. They're going to... Oh, wow. What's going on in the mid lane?
That was a very sexy Zeal Stun right there. Wow. The Chuck was a perfect line back. The Zeal Stun hit him front and back. Like, it seemed like 3 or 4 times right there because of the Chuck. Excellent, excellent coordination.
Oh, wow. And then on top of that, yep, Pebbles just got his portal key. Nim4 his level 6 is up. This is when the game starts getting very, very dangerous, especially, I was going to say, yeah, the Alchemist Bones is good for Kronos, but that's almost bad in this case because what Alchemist Bones tells you, if you're the other team, is that they can't really team fight right now. They're in it in the long haul. They want to farm right now. They cannot team fight because that really doesn't give any, like, yes, it does give you attack speed. It doesn't give you any damage. Actually, Polywog Priest does spot out this Glacius trying to ward, and he's going to get the tongue tie. Here it comes, and then for a port, though, it's going to bring Pebbles. There's a combo onto Wretched Hag. The Zeal Stun just hits, and a good counter kill coming out from Cake and Nymphora. And he's actually going to pursue this Poly. No, he's not. He maybe try to look for him. But, yep, that's the power of the Nymphora Pebbles combination.
Well, yeah, I was wondering I was honestly going to be like, Glacius, come on, that was just silly. But that actually made sense. I mean, he set up a great bait opportunity right there, placing the ward aside. And, well, Nymphora and Pebbles. Pebbles obviously showing off his new portal key present. And does the job right there. Bubbles, okay, he's invisible. I was going to say he's in a lot of trouble. But he's invisible, so going to be fine. But, yeah, you look at Loda, Alchemist Bones' option. Exactly. I mean, this basically makes a statement that we're committing to more of a mid to late game stage here. So if you want to go aggressive on up, here's your chance. And this Hellborn team, with Pebbles and Nymphora alone, can be very, very aggressive, as we've already seen. We do see Forsaken Archer in the meantime at the top lane. Chronosphere coming out. That may have screwed them a little bit, though. Kelfield going to be Here's the counter coming out from Pebbles. Forsaken Archer trying to turn this around. Did use the piercing arrows to win away right away, though. Playground is going to bounce around. The creep wave comes in time. Aki's taking a lot of damage. He'll survive, though. Kronos goes down. Double tap picked up by Gombos right there. Coming out on the Plague Rider, and just like that, a 3-for-1 exchange in favor of KEN0, so they lost Forsaken Archer, but they got the 3 kills themselves.
And they got the kill on Kronos, and that's the biggest thing for them. And it's the fact, Forsaken Archer died doesn't matter in the slightest. I mean, Pebbles and N4 are going to be able to pick heroes off left and right, and it's going to totally open up the map for Forsaken Archer. It really is. And she's going to totally outfarm this Kronos. And the fact is, like I was saying, he cannot teamfight right now. He's going to have to farm for those Alchemist Bones. And like I was saying, yes, it does give him attack speed, but that doesn't really matter.
Oh, I love seeing activity like this. I mean, free kill. Pebbles and N4, after they homecoming stone port to the top lane and turn that around, N4 ports him down to the bottom lane and gets another kill. This is, you know, it's one thing to pick this combination and talk about it in theory, but it's another thing to actually have it practiced out, to have it played out here, like we're seeing here. So a lot of credit over here to this Hellborn team between No Shit and Cake playing that Pebbles and N4. So kind of fun names there, but yeah, Pebbles, he is already 3-1-4. He is farming 436 gold per minute right now. He has another 2,100 gold saved up. I wouldn't be surprised to see Soul's Bulwark coming up here. I mean, that seems to be pretty routine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's looking good early on here for the Hellborn team, to say the least right now.
And Bulwark would be very good against their team too, because Kronos are doing that physical damage right now. And they spot out Spader X in the jungle there. Of course, that ward aside that was placed when Glacius got picked off. They should have maybe known that, you know, what is Glacius doing down here all by himself. They should have maybe suspected that a ward was placed, but it was. They haven't countered it yet. And as a result, they were able to get a very easy pick off on the Spader X.
Well, now they should definitely know. So, I mean, the fact that Pebbles just blindly jumped into a creep camp that Warbeast happened to be farming at, yeah, that wasn't blind. They definitely had vision right there. So you'd hope the support over here, in this case, Nequa here for playing the Polyvar Priest, would maybe scout that out and look to counterward that. But in the Pebbles right now and Plague God are currently pushing this bottom lane. They do have N4 nearby. You see the Legion team, they're thinking about setting something up. A port coming in next to 2 ports. We have a 5-man fight coming up. Kronos wants a Chronosphere. Will he get the appropriate placement? Great Zealson again coming up for N4, slowing down Kronos, and he does not have another time lead for 5 seconds. Pebbles portals away before he gets taken out. We see that Chronosphere coming out though, stopping the N4 TP. She will be taken out when it's all said and done. Plague God are also coming with the Plague. Oh, the Plague, so much damage bouncing around. Will it get any kills? No, it will not. Bubbles did die, so maybe I guess that's the 1 kill, but the rest do survive. If RNG was in his favor, that could have been a lot worse, but that was, I believe, Polywog Priest barely survived right there. So they end up getting 2 for 1 right there.
And that Plague Rider ultimate did so much damage. It almost killed who was the last victim, or
Polywog.
Yeah, Polywog could have been that next victim, and it would bounce a bam, and then it actually went to the Wolves, I believe, from Warbeast. So nonetheless, they're doing all of this without Forsaken Archer. That's the key here. It's Forsaken Archer doesn't need to be in these fights, and he's going to carry that. She's going to carry that in the late game. And meanwhile, Pebbles is going to take off, pick off so many different heroes with the assistance of that Plague Rider ultimate, which is also level 2 now. And of course, the N4 report, and they just have everything going for them right now. They're in a very, very comfortable position.
They really do. I mean, Forsaken Archer, another 1,500 gold saved up at this rate. Obviously, with already having the Whispering Elm, actually, I would think Shrunken Head, it's going to be safe to say. Look at Pebbles. He wants to jump in. Will they get the connection off? He baited out to take cover right there. Very well played. I'll tell you. I mean, this. Okay, I'm not gonna. It's a fun name to say. No shit here on the Hellborn team playing this Pebbles. He's been impressive, man. I mean, he knows how to play this hero clearly, and doing it very, very well here. Like I said, like we saw right there, like I was saying. I mean, he got the take cover bait out of Ake on Bubbles before he went to combo. So very well played. Gets a free kill, and they may set up another one. Oh, they're going to the top lane. Loda's in some trouble if he doesn't get a wait in time. There's a port, and now we're going to see Stalagmites. There's a Stalagmites. Will it be enough for the kill? The rewind proccing right there a little bit, it looks like. Is it going to be enough? Oh, the time leap away, and Kronos will survive. Port coming in for Mention Act, but at what cost right here for Pebbles? He will fall, and his serial killer streak will end, giving 310 bonus gold to No Easy. So.
Oh, if there's any time that that Legion needed a miracle, it was that. Yeah. And that's one thing that you can't do. You can't get overzealous like that. He should have known. I mean, the damage was close. I got to tell you, that damage was really, really close. But obviously, the auto attack is quite slow once you level up that ultimate from Pebbles. And it just wasn't in time to get Kronos before he did use that time leap away.
No, it was not. Sorry. Keeping hydrated there. Got to keep hydrated.
Of course.
Drinking water is a good thing. At the top lane, though, we do see Crippling Volley going to come out from Forsaken Archer. It's hitting the crease, but there's definitely a fight of Bruno up here. And N4 is off to the side. Pebbles is resurrecting in 5 seconds. He does have a TP ready to go. The tower is dropping quickly, though. Expect Pebbles to port in. No, he's going to be destroyed, though. But Warbeast gets caught out there, piercing us. There's a Plague bouncing around. Wretched Hag going to be frozen in place. The Plague stops bouncing, but Wretched Hag gets taken out. Polywog Priest is now on the run. Nice Zeal Stun again coming out for N4, setting up the crippling volley, and that's going to be a dead Amphibian right there. So double tap for Mikey Man on a Forsaken Archer. So again, a case of experienced gaming, trying to get a little bit confident there as a team. Well, they get turned around on. Now, Loda wasn't there. He was farming the bottom lane, so that's kind of a give and take. I mean, sure, he just continues to farm, but his team just got destroyed, and uh-oh, we see the port coming in. There goes Pebbles. Will this be enough? The combo lands. There's a Seal Stun. One more auto attack. The rewind proc, and there's a time leap away, and you gotta love the RNG. Now, can he get away, though, because Portal Key is going to be coming up here from Pebbles. Nice juke from Loda. He's going a completely opposite direction. Are we going to see a Seal Stun? Seal Stun, Seal Stun. No! Great job from Loda right there, escaping with a slither of life.
Yeah, it's really, really close. I will say that to be safe, especially against an N4 Pebbles, you need to be farming on strength steam boots. Sorry, that's hard to say. Strength steam boots.
Yeah.
Because you don't know when they're going to combo you like that. He did live with 14, I think it was 13 HP, and he had his agility boots on actually, and so that's just one thing to think about.
Thunderclaw.
Oh wow. I think that's a very Dota-esque thing to do.
He is going attack speed.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know how to comment on that.
I love that reaction.
But I don't even.
Well, the rewind. See, Kronos is again. He's kind of an interesting hero in that sense. Where, yeah, he is damn squishy right now. It was Steam boot set to strength. He was just over 1,000 life. I mean, that's not much. But he does have rewind, and from what I've seen, at least, the Pebbles, the last two gank attempts by Pebbles, the rewind has managed to barely save him.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah.
Obviously, it's not instantaneously, and I believe that is a little bit different, again, from his counterpart in Dota. I believe over there it's more instant than more of a over time, but still, man, he's going attack speed, and that'll make this Curse of the Ages more effective, you'd think.
Yeah, it will. I think just actually, Thunderclaw does actually good damage, and I think that's the biggest reason why. And the only problem, though, is with Kronos right now. I feel like the only way you can build him in this metagame is you got to get a Shrunken Head. You have to be able to go in there. What happens if you jump in with your Chronosphere, and actually in the meantime I missed that as Spader X gets taken out. This almost seems like it's so predictable that it's like, I'm not even surprised at this point because of this very aggressive team on the Hellborn side. There is actually a barrier idol picked up by Plague Rider. This is the suicide Plague Rider we're talking about here. The wards come down in mid. They do take the tower, and they're going to back away smartly, so at least getting somewhat of an exchange right there for the life of Spader X playing that Warbeast. But yeah, the problem with the Kronos is when you jump in an ulti, what happens if one of the other stuns catches you while you're in the ulti? You just kind of sit there and do nothing. So you have to have some way to mitigate all those stuns. And what better way than Shrunken Head? I mean, it's the perfect item for him. What I'd like to see build is maybe if he went Alchemist Bones, that's fine. Shrunken Head, and that way you still have that farming utility from Alchemist Bones, and then look to get your damage after that.
Yeah. Well, he went to Thunderclaw first, and now the big question mark for me, at least, is does he dare upgrade that into the Charged Hammer at this rate, or will he go for something like a Shrunken Head here? So, yeah, I think Shrunken Head, again, would just be the safer route, so we'll see what Loda decides to go for. Playing this Kronos, all 5 members of the Hellborn side on KEN0 here are grouping up the bottom lane. Forsaken Archer, speaking of Shrunken Head, she has her own another 2,000 gold saved up. You talked about the barrier idol purchased on Plague Rider, and Hellflower is going to be coming up soon here for Pebbles, actually. So that's the route he decided to go, and that's going to be yet another great item. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but can Kronos rewind if he's silenced like that? I'm not sure how that works. I know we've talked about this before, but again, he's not a hero we see often, so I want to say yes.
I think you can, because I'm pretty sure if you're sheeped, you can still rewind.
Yeah. I want to say yes, but I'm not 100%. I'm sure chat in 6 minutes from now will call me an idiot if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
or just anyways. Defensive tower, though, is going to start taking some damage here, and vulnerability used right away. Now, we do see Warbeast is currently pushing the middle lane by himself, so here's some decision time for experience. Will they commit? It looks like they are. Kronos Spirit hits 3 heroes, actually. They have a large chance right there. Battleflood's coming out. Forsaken Archer and Pebbles are going to drop right after that. Oh my god, Forsaken Archer is still alive, actually. He'll finally fall, but he was able to do some damage on a Kronos to get the counter kill. In the meantime, Bubbles trying to fall back. We see the Glacial downpour on a Polywog Priest. Polywog Priest will be taken out, and in the end, it looks like the Hellborn team in a great spot. Warbeast finally joined the party, though. He was not able to port into the initial tower, it looked like, but he finally joins the party, taking a Zeal Stone right there. Glacius going to try to port out. Will he be successful? I believe he will, and not nearly enough damage coming out. And when it's all said and done, it wasn't too bad for KEN0. I mean, Experience Gaming, they had some good things happen for them there, but it seems like it could have been a lot better for them. Unfortunately, it wasn't.
I feel like, yeah, if Warbeast had been there, ready to fight right after the Chronosphere, the Chrono ulti went down, it would have done a lot of damage. Forsaken Archer did manage to get that ulti off, which did kill Chronos. And so had he was CC'd down or a little bit more damage done after the Chronosphere was down, it would have been a very, very good fight for Experience Gaming to get back into this game.
Yeah.
It was a decent fight for them, but yeah, I really feel like Warbeast could have had more of an impact there if he was at that fight.
Yeah, that was close, man. I mean, the fact that Forsaken Archer lived with it had to be under 100 life right there. But that made the difference. She still died, but she was able to get her combo off, and that no doubt set up the turnaround and really set the ultimate tone of that fight. So big plays indeed coming out right there. But now 24 minutes into the game, I will say Pebbles, you know, he had that those exciting moments, especially right after he got the portal key. He slowed down a little bit, but that's, to say the least. I mean, he's still looking to make things happen. You see at the bottom lane, they're trying to find Warbeast again. Warbeast says he does not have a Homecoming Stone actually, so he's in trouble. He doesn't even have mana for his ultimate, so he needs to be careful. But it looks like he's going to be able to fall back before any pressure comes on him. But look at this. Well, the group of heroes coming through. 4 of them are here for the Hellborn side. You see the creep wave. It does spot Pebbles walking by though, and that'll give plenty of information for the Legion team. However, Warbeast and Bubbles may be in some trouble. They're standing right on top of Warda's side. Bubbles is going to shell surf away, so in the end he will be fine. But that could have been dangerous. Forsaken Archer is level 16 now, by the way, though, and she does have her Firebrand finished. Yeah,
on top of that Shrunken Head, she's pretty damn farmed. 444 gold per minute. It's really good. I feel like they were actually trying to maybe get a port up onto Kronos up top there. They're baiting him actually right now. Both Polywog and Wretched Hag are just sitting right behind him, maybe baiting out that Nymph4 TP.
Nymph4's level 11, too.
And yeah, she's going to be able to bring 2 people with her. And, oh, they're going to see it right now.
Oh.
Do they know? Maybe they can hear it. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, they can.
Oh, there's a Chronos for the Bat Blast right on top, and that is going to destroy KEN0 right there. Plague Rider goes down. Stalagmites come out with the final auto attack from Polywog Priest, and that's a 3-kill-for-nothing exchange right there. Oh my god, that could not have been any better for Experience Gaming. They were all on top of each other, and you were questioning whether or not they heard it or saw it. Oh, they definitely did. Well played.
I mean, that was a really good job. I mean, what better? The only way you can really combat Nymph4 is to bait the TP like that when they don't have vision. They were trying to do it earlier because they had a ward up here in the top river, but they couldn't do it because they needed Pebbles, and he was being seen in the mid right there.
Yeah.
And so they had to wait. And as a result, they get a big boost in experience and gold. Now, they're still trailing by a little bit, but that is huge for them. And, of course, in the late game, Chronos is definitely going to out-carry Forsaken Archer. Because of his passive bash, it's very, very good against other carries.
Yeah.
And I will say that I'm really happy to see Loda. I think he's going to go for that Shrunken Head next. He definitely needs that, as he did pick up that Mighty Blade and has a lot of gold. He actually has enough for it. But before that, I will say Thunderclaw actually is doing work. Like, it's doing a lot of damage.
Oh, yeah.
I've talked about this before in previous casts. I love the item. I think it's kind of underrated. It does do a lot of damage. So the upgrade is arguably not worth it in the early game. Of course, the attack speed does help Chronos in the late game. But right now, it's doing work. And with that Shrunken Head to prevent, like Hellflower, other stuns, it's going to be very strong. And actually, speaking of Shrunken Head, Wretched Hag just picked up her own.
Warbeast did as well. I mean, this we're going to all of a sudden see 3 Shrunken Heads from 0 to 3 coming out here for Experience Gaming. If Loda decides to go for that, I mean, he's sitting on 3,600 gold. Like you said, he has enough for it right now. So interesting that he hasn't picked up. Now, there's a Bound Eye sitting here, actually. Waiting for a TP. I could have sworn they just walked right past it. They saw it, but they just left it. So I don't know if that was on purpose. Now, Loda doesn't really have a slot on. Okay, Warbeast just picked it up. So, yeah, they definitely saw it. It was just a case of who was going to go eventually pick it up. Maybe he just went to the shop to sell something, or I don't know. But anyways, he picks it up. Like I said, though, yes, Loda does purchase the Shrunken Head. So there will be 3 Shrunken Heads now on the Legion side. I mean, that's huge. It literally went from 0 to 3 that the Hellborn team is now going to have to deal with in these team fights. Look at Spader X here at the top lane, pressuring the top tower. This is what Warbeast will start to do for you as the game progresses, especially. He is a solo pushing artist, and he will keep the other team very occupied if played correctly. So very well played right there. And what seemed like to be a very early and strong start for KEN0, it's gone away, man. I mean, this is getting very close to an even game, if not. I mean, the stats still say KENO's in the lead, but I don't know. I'm feeling good for both teams now. They both have their positives here. Yeah,
definitely. And then the scariest thing for them now is this Nymph4 TP going to backlash on them? Now they're maybe scared to go and TP on anybody because they might think that they're just baiting them.
Oh, we see they're going to try to catch right here on a Pebbles. Bat Blast used liberally right there. We see Bubbles porting in. He's going to take a Hellfire. In the meantime, Playgunner comes out. Pebbles turns around on a Bubbles. Pebbles will fall, but a great Chronosphere coming out from Kronos. There's a Shrunken Head, and out comes the damage. Just see the Thunderclaw procking like crazy right there. Down goes Playgunner. Warbeast is chasing. Crippling Volley will catch him, but not Kronos. Kronos has the time limit, 2 seconds. Going to try to port out his Forsaken Archer. Will he be successful? No, he will not. I believe the bash came through or something did, and stalled him. So he goes down, and right now Experience Gaming has taken over the lead, both in gold and experience, and that could very likely start progressing big time. So, I mean, you said it. It seems like the Hellborn team has gotten a lot more hesitant all of a sudden of trying to make aggressive plays, and Pebbles simply just got caught out right there in the Legion jungle.
He got caught out, and I was almost questioning Bubbles as to why he wasn't using that ultimate. He jumped in, used the Song of the Sea, and there was, like, you know, people around and maybe just wasn't familiar with the range of Bubbles, and I think that just goes back to, you know, player and player hero assignments and roles. And I feel like, I mean, obviously they still won that fight, but I think it could have been even better had Playground not got that ultimate off.
Yeah. Yeah, like that went very well. I mean, Loda, you got to give him credit again. As you said, this is not a hero we see at all in the competitive scene nowadays, but he clearly has experience himself with it, whether it's in Dota or even HoN, and he's doing very well with him. I mean, the Chronospheres have been beautiful. That is a very dangerous ultimate, as we've talked about, because it can be so great for you, but at times it can also be so unfortunate for you if you trap your own team in it or something. But it seems like as a team, you know, they're playing around it, and he's landed some nice ones, as we saw right there, and it's no doubt been some kind of momentum changers even in these team fights. So Warbeast purchased that Shrunken Head a while ago, and he still hasn't delivered. So maybe he only had the pattern, but no, it's still sitting on the courier. I don't know if he just simply forgot, but okay. I mean, but eventually that will be coming. But yeah, now on Keno's side, so again, obviously we're getting hyped a lot about Experience Gaming now because they've had a hell of a comeback here. Thunderclaw just finished, by the way, so there you go. He did go the Shrunken Head first, but, or excuse me, Charged Hammer. Yes. That's what I meant. So do you like that now that he got the Shrunken Head at least first?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that he really needed that Shrunken Head. I mean, Thunderclaw by itself, it was fine. I was just under the assumption, oh god, is he going to go straight for a Charged Hammer? Because that would be, he definitely needed that Shrunken Head. Obviously in that fight, if you saw, right after he cast the Chronosphere, the Glacius Ice Imprisonment went on him. And had he not had the Shrunken Head, he just would have sat there, like the whole time. But he popped it right after, actually baiting out that spell, did a good job, and totally nullified that, and was able to just pound auto attacks into Forsaken Archer and Plague Rider, and did a lot of damage as a result. So I think Kronos is actually fine in this metagame. If you get the farm on him, like I love the item Alchemist Bones on him. I think it's great. I don't really like Rune Cleaver as much on him. I think he benefits greatly from that attack speed. And I think if you go something like Alchemist Bones into Shrunken Head like he's done, it just makes him perfect. It's the ability to be able to catch opponents off guard very, very quickly into a very big radius makes it very strong. And he is a great hero that's anti-carry. He's a carry hero that does even better against carries because of that passive bash ability.
The passive and just the Chronosphere in general. I mean, he will Shrunken anything.
Exactly.
You'll be locked down for, what is it, 6 seconds at this level? Yeah, 5 seconds. If it gets the Staff of the Master at 6 seconds.
Oh.
So, I'm just saying, just putting that out there. Maybe Staff of the Master. No, but that's 5 seconds of a lockdown on whoever you want it to be on the opposition. And then, of course, that can be multiple heroes. So it really is a ridiculous ability when you think about it. It's just, you got to be a little bit careful, playing around it, make sure you don't get your teammates trapped in and everything. But as we've seen so far, and I'm sure obviously he has plenty of experience, that very likely won't be happening. So, but so again, we're talking about Experience Gaming a lot here because they have been making that comeback and now even overtaking the lead. But Keno still has their positives. I mean, Forsaken Archer, he is still farming very well. 442 gold per minute. Currently has a Geometrist Bane finished. You have Pebbles. No doubt has slowed down, but he does purchase a Mighty Blade right there, so possibly on his way to a Shrunken Head himself, which can definitely help. You got Glacius. Look at Glacius, man. Tablet of Command, Void Talisman. Not often we see Glacius with this much farm, but Glacius has managed to farm 242 gold per minute, more than Plague Rider, actually. Holy crap. Yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere. So Bang Beba, he's had a actually great game. So again, and AoE fights as well. Team synergy is definitely there for the Hellborn side. So by all means, Experience Gaming has slight advantage now, you could say, but I still think Keno has their chances for sure.
I think they do, but it's starting to get slim. Like, it's starting to get scary. And you got to think, like, with the start that they had, they just kind of screwed up really, really big by getting baited by Kronos right there. Namely, the position of the Nymph-4 ultimate could have been way better. If they saw him running into their jungle, they needed to TP somewhere, like, further into their jungle rather than behind, because it's very easy, like they just did, to bait him like that. And obviously the other heroes are going to be behind him. And where did they TP? Behind him. And as a result, they got totally sandwiched.
Yeah. Well, we do see the experienced gaming is going to push this top tower now, so it's time to do some damage on the base. They say Forsaken Archer sending out one of her illusions, going to try to bait them. This could actually work. I would actually be very curious to see if the Legion team maybe falls for that bait right here. So, kind of an interesting strategy coming out from KEN0 as you see the illusion going out in front, but it finally despawns, and Experienced Gaming didn't have any of that. So instead of committing to anything, obviously you keep going back to, especially with that Chronos, this is a team makeup that they don't need to rush this necessarily. They can fall back, get even more farm, get Chronos bigger and better, as dangerous as he is already. He still has at least 2 item slots left here when you take with the Token of Life and, of course, that Hatchet. So, yeah, he still has plenty of more farm to go before he's kind of maxed out. So they'll gladly take their time and just keep the pressure here on this Hellborn side. So what do you think of the Hellborn team, though, as far as you mentioned this earlier? Is it just simply that they're scared of using an M4 now? Should they still continue to use her, or can they?
Well, it's hard. I mean, who do you go on? If you put all your eggs in, like, the basket of killing, say, Polywog, it's like, do you really want to waste all your spells on Polywog? If you go on Chronos, he's too tanky and has a Token of Life, so you can't really kill him. It's just too difficult at this point.
Oh, we see the tower did some damage to Chronos right there as after taking the freeze. Now he does have the Token of Life for another minute and a half, so it is starting to get a little bit lower, but still has that. Look at this tower just fall, though. The Soul's Bulwark doing work. I'm guessing that's a Soul's. Yeah, Soul's Bulwark didn't work. We see the, that's another thing to bring up, actually, the command coming out there from Warbase. But nice job from Pebbles, takes out Pebbles right away, and here we go. The Plague Goo bouncing around, no Quota Spirit coming out just yet. You see the Thunderclaw procs being used. Now the Shrunken Head's absorbing all of that Plague Goo damage. The Quota Spirit comes out, Plague Rider gets decimated, and Forsaken Archer just needs to run away. The Shrunken Heads did so much work right there for the Legion team. They're going to now start beating on the racks here. You see Warbase in the front lines. He gets caught out of his ulti for him, but he's not too worried. These melee racks are going to fall. So a great Plague Rider ultimate, but the Shrunken Heads literally absorbed all of it, it seemed like. Yeah,
and the Token of Life is still up on Chronos. I don't even know if they need to waste it or use it. They're actually going to make their way towards the mid, as they know that all the spells and Shrunken Heads and all that jazz are all down. And the wards are still up for Poly. I think he actually used them much earlier before Chronos actually went to push out mid. And they're going to have that to use to take out that mid tower, and they're probably just going to back up. They're not going to concede this Token of Life on Chronos maybe just yet. They don't really need to. He has 5,400 gold saved up. If he's not winning these team fights, well, they're already winning these team fights now. Yeah. Just imagine how bad it's going to be when he buys an item like, say, Savage Mace, which I can totally see him buying right now.
Yeah, he's going to pour it back. I thought he was, never mind. So he is going to just start running back, but yeah, it's really coming to a point where the store is his oyster, or however that saying goes. You know what?
The world is his oyster.
The world is his oyster. Yeah, I'm just rambling on here, making stuff up. When do I not, right? We do see a Warclef purchased by Warbeast, actually, so he is on his way to his Demonic Breastplate. And Staff of the Master was just finished on No, just kidding. Wretched Hag goes the Staff of the Master. Obviously, that increases her ultimate. Does it decrease the cooldown as well?
A little bit, yeah.
I believe it does, yeah. It says it's 80 seconds right now cooldown, so maybe it doesn't actually.
Maybe it is just the damage.
Maybe it is just the damage, yeah, but 725. That is a lot of damage, that's for sure. You know, Staff of the Master, it's also a great item. It's stats, man. It's just raw stats for you. So she's sitting at 1920 life. Obviously, plenty of mana pool. So
yeah,
solid item.
I'm not sold on that item personally. I think if you're buying an item like that just to do damage, if it doesn't greatly increase or decrease the cooldown, it's just not for me. It's like I could find better items to do more damage, like Hellflower. I could do more damage with the Hellflower and make better use of it. If I wanted stats, I could get you know, even a Behemoth's Heart. That would even help me with stats more. But just a little bit more damage from Bat Swarm, especially when you have heroes that are trying to buy Shrunken Heads. I know Forsaken Archer already has hers. Pebbles is working on his. I mean, it's a fine item. I'm nitpicking here, but
yeah. Man, the line, you got that Chronosphere, man, the Bat Blast on top of that. It's just, you know, it's a thing of beauty. So
it is. I mean, yeah, if you catch them before their Shrunken Heads are up, I mean, it's going to do a lot of damage, and they have been doing that. They're synergizing their team fights very well. And there's a Wingbow on Chronos. He's going to dish out so much damage at such a very fast attack speed. Look at that. He's got 3 different massive attack speed items on top of those Steam Boots. Yeah, he's going to be doing he's just going to be wrecking face, really.
Yeah,
550 gold per minute.
That's what he does, yeah. We saw the charge timer, again, doing work last fight. I mean, just you can see all the chain lightnings coming out. There's no Thunderbringer on this team. That was just simply the charge timer doing work. So, yeah, he's quite beefy. Now, Forsaken Archer, keep going back to her. She's farming 450 gold per minute. She does have 4,300 gold saved up herself. So, but here's the question. Do you buy that big item now, or do you save it knowing that there's a very good chance that you could be going into a fight here in the very near future? So it's really kind of that limboing place. Now, the Legion team, they're not going to commit Experience Gaming and deciding to fall back for now. Again, they're not necessarily in a huge rush, so it may make that decision a little bit easier on Forsaken Archer, but even so, I mean, there's little farm to go around right now. Their jungles, obviously, it's not even warded up really, so they've got to be scared about that. The lanes aren't really pushed up too far at this point, so Forsaken Archer, she has a lot of gold saved up, but it's not increasing that drastically either.
Generally, if you're getting pushed on, you want to save for a buyout, because obviously if you buy it, you can get right in the team fight right away. If you're pushing on someone, you generally want to buy your items, because a buyout was not really going to help you regardless. So I would hope he saves her buyout, and it looks like he is. But so much damage is going to go on these racks already. I don't even know if they have Glyph up, but between War Beast and pretty much just War Beast doing all that damage. There we go. He has a Shrunken Head activated. I'll let you take over, Breaky.
Rax just falls, and the Hellborn team has to sit there just crying. There's nothing that they can do right there. War Beast with the Shrunken Head, the ulti form, he's just like, come at me, bro. And they didn't even accept the challenge because, again, what were they going to do right there? So well played by Warbeast. He goes in, snipes a Rax, and yet again, Experience Gaming is going to fall back. You got to appreciate this playstyle here. Again, they're not rushing into anything. That's something we talk about a lot. Is teams that will overcommit when they start to have a lead like this.
Yeah.
You know, getting a little bit overzealous, you know, overcommitting, and maybe thinking they already have the game in hand, and then all of a sudden they're all the way at the well and not killing the Rax. So very smart snipe right there. With these two Pebbles using the Portakey defensively, he nearly got cut out right there. Luckily getting away. Chronos diving in with a time leap. Oh, poor Glacius. Puts the freeze out, so we'll be fine for now. Zeal's on top of that, so the fight has been initiated. Forsaken Archer gets stumped, and Forsaken Archer will get torn apart. Absolutely can't even get off the Shrunken Head. She finally falls. The Plague's bouncing around, but there's Chronos jumping in the background. Puts the Chronosphere up, and he is just annihilating this Hellborn team. Pebbles trying to get away, not able to Portakey in time. Says, get off me. I don't know if that's going to be... Oh, the Bat Blast completely whiffs, so much for that Staff of the Master. But down goes Pebbles. Forsaken Archer buying back, obviously. But she's probably going to die again at this rate. Pebbles gets a good combo wop, but shucked back in Forsaken Archer. And now Chronos is just going to pound in damage again. Oh, Chronos barely allowed the rewind taking place. He has a time leap, cannot use it in time. And Chronos will fall, so...
Bad mannered. He had the annihilation.
Oh,
bad mannered.
Wow, that was it, huh?
Yeah. He could have actually got a double annihilation to kill them both. Look, there's that Shrunken Head activated on Warbeast. She's like, just hit me, do it.
Off,
I don't care.
off.
Oh, Glyph. I got to get away. Glyph, run.
He's dead.
Nope.
Okay. That was just silly. Yeah, so... Right as I started, you know, giving them credit for playing smart, you know, here they are diving the well and doing things like that. But hey, they are in a very solid lead now, and KEN0, the time is running out here. I don't know if there's a whole lot left that they're going to be able to do to stall this longer. So,
I mean, it's similar to like playing against a Dark Lady when you're down. It's like if you're down 10k against a Dark Lady, oh, it feels like you're down like 25k.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's such an uphill battle. It's like, what do? We're already losing these team fights. They have the better hard carry. What can we do? I mean, it's really hard when you're in that position. And honestly, you have to just kind of keep fighting. You have to get pickoffs. That's the only way you can do that. Sit in your base, wait for them to make a mistake. That's all it comes down to. You have to wait for them to make a mistake. There's nothing you can do. If they play perfectly and they're up this much with the better carry, they should win every single time.
Oh, yeah.
If they play perfectly. They don't even have to play perfectly. They just have to play fine.
Yeah, they just have to, you know, make smart decisions in the end, not even playing perfectly. So, and that's really what Experience Gaming has been doing throughout most of this game, and definitely been giving them credit for that. So, again, this really, you could just simply say, I mean, this is their game to lose is what it really comes down to at this point. So 42.5 minutes in. Now, Conquer was being attempted by KEN0, actually, but they didn't get nearly enough damage out to make it that much of a scare, and in the end, they do decide to fall back. So, not stats, but people, you know, resurrecting, things are resetting a little bit, and now it's just on Experience Gaming. What did Kronos purchase? Rift Shards. Rift Shards level 1, so only the early levels, but he's now going to even start critting with those auto attacks as well as even just plus 45 damage on top of that. So,
and buying a new recipe.
Did he just buy a new one? Yeah, so he has level 2 coming. Yeah, he is going to be... he was already tearing them apart, man. I mean, you put a Rift Shards on top of that. That's...
And I was wondering last fight, he was kind of going toe-to-toe with someone there, actually, as they're taking Congo right there, and it is dropping down very quickly. Probably making the sell. Actually, we might see a jump right here. I'm not quite sure.
Pebbles is ready. They're going to go for it. I mean, they figure that they need to take a risk, so it looks like they may go for it. Yeah, we go. Pebbles jumps in. He gets that token alive. Isn't going to matter in the end, though. He will fall. Of course, he's going to resurrect. Plague Rider gets locked down. Can't even get off the ultimate. Pebbles will fall after. You see the piercing arrows use a good amount of damage on a Kronos, actually. Kronos is dropping, but no, the tongue tie comes out. And now Forsaken Archer getting turned on. Will use a Geometer's Bane, trying to fight his way out of here. It's not going to happen, though. He puts the crippling volley, it lands on a Kronos, but he goes down in the end. So like I said, it just seemed like, you know, they knew they needed to take some kind of risk. They figured they would give it a shot, but even with the steal, it just didn't matter. Forsaken Archer does buy back. Nymphora is going to be picked off here, though. And a hat-trick coming up for Nikwa, actually, playing that polywog free. So good job right there. We do see Kronos fall, actually. And all of a sudden, the Hellborn team, maybe a little bit of sign of life here, but Bat Blast going to be used, and the Legion side is going to start falling back. But Warbeast, he's like, I got the Aether Axe, don't worry.
Yeah, and he got the range racks as well in the mid there. And actually might turn this on to Pebbles. No, good volleys this entire game, but it doesn't matter at this point. So all the bios come out. There's the GG well played and the vote to concede. And wow, what a game we had right here. It looked like it was going to go heavily in favor for KEN0, but, you know, Experienced Gaming showing their experience. And, well, I mean, the great item pickups also in Loda. Fantastic carry that game all around.
It really was the case early on. It kind of hit me, you know, when you're talking about, are we going to see Alchemist Bone? I'm like, actually, this is Loda. Of course we're going to see Alchemist Bone. Sure enough, he went that route, and it did work out very, very well in the end. I mean, you said it, though. KEN0, no doubt, they had the advantages early on, man. They were looking really good. No shit on Pebbles. He had some impressive jumps with that portal key, and it seemed like they were really starting to get some momentum going with that Nymphora Pebbles. That it's hard to stop that and, you know, come back from. But Experienced Gaming, you know, they played their game, they kept things cool, and you talked about it several times. We saw it, that top lane, or the top jungle was where they baited the Nymphora TP. It was Nymphora, Plague Rider, and Pebbles, I believe. They poured it in right on top of a Chronosphere. Plague Rider, or Polywog Priest and Bubbles were there, I believe, or maybe it was Wretched Hag. But anyways, they were there to set up and fight themselves, and that easily went in their favor. They just annihilated them, and that was kind of that turnover point where you're like, all right, Experienced Gaming, things are actually going pretty well for them now all of a sudden. So KEN0, they gave it a shot, but Experienced Gaming, a little bit too much power in the end, but that is just game one, so game two going to be coming up shortly here, Trev.
They gave Loda an inch, and he took a mile. I mean, that bait right there, the Nymphora bait, was just superb, and like I said with Kronos, that's a hero that does very, very well in the late game, and it was just a matter of getting there, and they finally got there with that turnaround. And it was, I believe, it was Wretched Hag and Polywog, and the Bat Blast on top of the Chronosphere. The wards replaced from Poly did so much damage also, and just really well played by them. They kept their composure. They played it really smart.
Yeah, they definitely did. So with that said, game number 2, it is going to be coming around the corner here. Sit tightly. We'll be back. Experienced Gaming taking on KEN0 here in this best out of 3.